Hello. So today is, well, actually the entirety of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're gonna bring some mental health awareness videos to this channel. And today I want to talk about being vulnerable on the internet. Really, this isn't just about mental health, but I guess kind of it is. Let's just go with it here. This is actually a video that was inspired last year by Dodie. Dodie made a video about sharing too much on the internet, sharing too much of her mental illness on the internet, and that kind of had me thinking about talking about being vulnerable on the internet. So it's kind of like an add-on to that video, because I know Melanie Murphy also made a video about that, so we're just kind of continuing the conversation about a year or so after it started. So I want to talk about the good things and the bad things about being vulnerable on the internet, about being someone like a YouTuber or content creator, if you write stuff rather than make videos, talking a lot about yourself and what you've been through. There are good things and bad things that come along with that type of job or hobby or whatever YouTube or content creating is to you. So let's just start off with the bad things first so we can end up on more of a positive note. Two of these cons that I wrote down kind of go together, which is one, public judgment, and two, people thinking that they know more than they actually do. So one, when you put yourself out there and you talk about your experiences, you are one person versus however many people know who you are and have seen your video. So let's say 1,000 people watch this. This is one of me and 1,000 other people that can take whatever is being said and speculate, and just sometimes it gets to the point where they start making up certain scenarios, creating scenarios, and just acting like they know you better or know your experiences better and what have you. And of course people do this, and I know that there are websites dedicated to doing this kind of thing, which is absolutely bizarre to me. And that is why there was the internet rule of don't read the comments, because sometimes this happens. Not necessarily in your own space, because you control your own space, or you control what you see, what others see, what others can do. But when I make a video for iMedia, which I haven't done in quite some time, iMedia is not my space, so anybody can do what they want. And there has been one instance when I was able to ask the people to remove a certain comment, but it's not my space. I can't really do anything about it. Or when an article is posted and people have some absolutely ridiculous things to say. Not my space, can't really do anything about it. I don't control the domain. I did not write the article that is posted, so that's something that's really annoying to see. So that's why the internet rule, don't read the comments. And then the third bad thing, which is what Dodie was talking about in her video way back when, the possibility of sharing too much. Especially with something like mental illness, it can get really, really uncomfortable, sometimes to the point of, say, glamorizing something, like glamorizing depression, anxiety, suicide, or something. Disclaimer, this is not me saying that any particular person does that. I'm just saying that sometimes it is a possibility. And I know some people have said that so-and-so has done this, right? But sometimes you can't share a little too much. You have to create boundaries with yourself, with others, because the fact is, if you share too much, if you share the wrong things, people can use that against you. So it is very important to keep some or a lot of things to yourself. I know there were certain things about my abuse that I dealt with that I shared a long time ago that I regret sharing, because there were times that it came back to bite me, and it was annoying because what would happen is, like the other couple of reasons that I said, people would judge too much, and then they would make up stuff that really was just, they thought they knew more than they actually did. So the good things about being a little bit vulnerable on the internet, talking about your problems, one of the main things is the fact that you're basically letting other people know that they're not alone. So when I talk about being mainstreamed and feeling like very alone being mainstream. You know, I was the only deaf person that I knew for such a long time besides my biological mother. Other people, you know, they saw other deaf people on the internet, like ASL deaf people on the internet, but they couldn't necessarily relate because it's just different deaf experiences. So they see another mainstream person on the internet and it's like, holy crap, this is something that I can relate to. You know, like depression and child abuse. Sometimes it's just really nice to be able to find somebody that has dealt with that kind of thing and you're not going to feel alone and there's just somebody to connect with. And that's actually the second point that I was going to make, being able to relate to somebody. I mean, I get comments quite often on various videos of various topics being like, I'm so glad that you're making videos about this. This is something that I can relate to, and I haven't been able to find anybody that I can relate to. And you know what? Doing this type of thing, number 3, is it helps you be able to create relationships with people, friendships with people. I met quite a handful of friends that I never would have been able to make if I wasn't doing YouTube for the past 8 years. That's a very long time, and half of that was makeup stuff, and I don't really talk to my makeup friends all that much anymore. There's still a very small few, but most of them I don't talk to anymore because I can't really relate anymore. But now, you know, my other disabled friends, people who have also had dealt with abuse in their lives, depression, you know, stuff like that. That has been pretty awesome. So those are just some good things and bad things about being vulnerable on the internet. If YouTube is something that you want to do, keep these things in mind. There's always good things and bad things about this. Sometimes you don't share enough and sometimes you can share too much, and you know, you deal with some hate comments, whether it be actually to you or away from you, but you also get a lot of really good comments, which is something I probably should have said along with seeing some bad comments. Just try not to worry about the bad comments and stick with the good ones, you know? If you can think of any other good or bad things about being vulnerable, sharing yourself, putting yourself out on the internet, feel free to leave a comment below. And before you go, if you haven't, consider pledging on Patreon to support my work. Depending on the tier that you pledge, you get some certain perks, and you know, that's all good. And I'll see you later. Bye.